Welcome back to UAP Rant, episode 20 in the series. Those following the series, last few episodes we've been discussing the fourth dimension of time as a scalar quantity in relation to Maxwell's original quaternion notation that was modified by Heaviside using differential calculus into 3D vector fields, and then discussing the links with Einstein in terms of the Lorentz equations and special relativity in terms of space-time. But we were going back to the key point that if time is scalar, then the observation of UAP and the phenomena makes much more sense when the past, present and future all exist simultaneously. So we're talking about hyperspace and interdimensional travel in that regard. And we were carrying on from there, looking at concepts like wormholes, extra dimensions proposed in string theory as bridges through space-time, and talking about the mechanics of anomalies and objects entering hyperspace, leaving our observable space-time. So bypassing the constraints of the speed of light, and then on re-entry, reappearing in different spatial and temporal coordinates. So we were talking about the five observables of the UAP in terms of, in that regard, in terms of instantaneous acceleration in particular, and disappearing and reappearing as a product of time being a scalar quantity and hyperspace interacting with space-time in three dimensions or vectors. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about rods and orbs in our own research project we've been doing in the field in terms of dimensional perception of our observations, because orbs and rods appear to be operating or orientating to an interdimensional anomaly through which we could see this manifestation going on. So this may be tied to the observer's limited perception of higher dimensional entities as well, because we might be seeing what you could refer to as the impression or shadow or something that's passing through an anomaly in time interdimensionally, and we don't know what's on the other side of it, but we can observe like the silhouette of whatever these things are. So we get this higher dimensional projection in time permeating, or like a temporal anomaly permeating our three-dimensional space, through which we can see these orbs and rods. So that, yes, we know they exist, they appear to be real, but they're only perceived in a cross-section of our three-dimensional space. It's a bit like having a four-dimensional sphere interacting as an anomaly with three-dimensional space, and then within it you get all these small orbs that may move, expand or disappear as they move in and out of a 3D slice of our space-time within this anomaly, and that anomaly could be micro, it could be or it could be extensive in terms of the manifestation of orbs and rods, and it really depends on the mechanics of their operation. Are they modifying the space around them in particular within which they manifest in terms of time being scalar within a fourth dimension, or is it a wider anomaly that they are utilizing and we are looking through that like a looking glass and seeing, like as I referred to previously, a cross-section of whatever's on the other side that these objects represent. And the same with the light rods or the rods. They could represent the motional structure within higher dimensions that are perceived as these streaks with these spindles around them that are interacting with our space and our space-time. What they actually are may not be what we think they are within that anomaly. So we get often quite this fluctuating visibility within the anomaly as well, because we had what I called ghosting orbs that seem to be within this haze, within this anomaly in the field that we're observing, which was measurable and repeatable, and then they would at times pop into our three-dimensional space in the infrared spectrum, because that's what we were filming in. And it seemed to dissipate overnight, this haze, and these orbs within it would slow down but still be observable. So what else? We've got craft not from this time as well. So objects may appear to violate what we perceive as time. So for example, craft could be from the future, and that could be explained through manipulation of the fourth dimension using advanced hyperspace technologies. But you'd have to consider time as scalar for that to be feasible, because time can't have probably shouldn't have a direction in terms of past, present, and future. If time was scalar, then they all exist simultaneously. So you could see at any particular point in time something from the equivalent of our present across the vastness of space within this anomaly. But because there's an overlap, because it's scalar time, it could be something from the past or something from the future that is in this 3D slice of space time that we can see through warping of the and the fourth dimension. So you could get temporal displacements. A craft could use hyperspace to exploit shortcuts in that time, like a wormhole, as time as well as space, which could result in apparent time travel relative to the observer and, for example, if you were the object itself. So a craft from the future or past might momentarily exist in our present if it crosses a hyperspace boundary or loops in our space-time. And if time's scalar and this anomaly is sitting there manifesting in the same spot, which it was in the field for us, then that may well be the case, is that we've got this, what I call the looking glass effect into this temporal anomaly that's going on. Another thing is time-induced anomalies. So we could have a time-induced anomaly might explain discrepancies in material age. For example, craft materials could be older or younger than they should be, because we're not quite sure if time is scalar within this anomaly, whether the objects that we're looking at, silhouettes or real or otherwise, are from the past, the present, or the future at some other point in space and time within our solar system or our galaxy, for example, or just on this planet, but at a different time but in the same space. So we get relativistic time effects. So craft, for example, or these objects could operate near or beyond relativistic speeds, and time dilation might cause them to experience time differently from observers on Earth, if time is scalar, of course. For example, an advanced civilization could leave its home planet, experience centuries in hyperspace, and reappear in what seems like our past or our future, and which is interesting in and of itself. How that relates to the orbs and rods, I'm not quite sure at the moment. We'd have to do some more investigation into temporal anomalies that are occurring out in the field, and better ways to measure or record quantitatively what's going on, to infer some sort of concepts and theories around it all. So I'll probably leave it at that for now. There's a few more things to talk about with UAPs and rods. The talk's getting on a bit. We'll leave that till the next episode, and talk more about the 5 observables. And I also want to get into tools or for field work, and how we can do more work in quantifying what's going on. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks.